Friends, family, fans, welcome back to another episode of Back Nine Bets, episode 58. 58 freaking episodes, folks. We are cruising through these things. Next thing you know, it's going to be episode 100, and we're going to have one hell of a party by the time that happens. So I want you to know that. Also, if the sound on this podcast doesn't sound good, please, Darbo, let me know because my microphone is in a different position. Slightly a bit other side of the keyboard. So I've got a full range of motion for the hands to work some magic for y'all on this show. It is the Wells Fargo Championship. We are rocking the $100 bill shirt delayed. We didn't win the Mexico Open, but we sure as hell won the goddamn Zurich. Now, I have some confessions to make. If there's a tournament to cap, that's probably the one that has the least skill involved. I'll be 100% honest with you there, but a win is a goddamn win. And we finally got our first outright before the end of May, before May started. We got an outright in April, and I was on vacation. I was in a garage on the way to a golf cart to go pull up and pick up the family, and I pulled up the freaking app, and there it was. The Hardy Boys, Nick Hardy and Davis Riley. Swan song, swan bomb, back nine, top rope stuff. Just a fantastic effort from the gentleman there to get our year rolling. Yeah, we've been doing better on the placement outrights, placements and matchup situations, but man, we've been struggling in the outright. So now we can finally bust out the $100 bill shirt, as we always do when we win, which doesn't happen often. This thing has been crusty, crinkled, and it smells like 2022, folks. So it's good to have some model maniac BO getting onto the 2023 shirt here. You know what I'm saying? So we are cooking with gas. I most likely have had COVID for the last little while. I've been traveling. I've been on vacation. And it's month end. So your boy is under the gun, you know? So if things go a little off kilter today, it is what it is. And yes, I wanted to introduce Rotoballer's promo somehow, but I forgot how I was going to transition that. So here we go. Please, folks, if you are not supporting Rotoballer, premium stuff that me and my boy Spencer and Joe Nicely are putting out there, go check it out at rotoballer.com. Use code MANIAC for 10% off. Get yourself your premium packages now. Spencer's cooking, folks. You are just, if you're going to pay your $200 for the annual subscription, get yourself 10% off. That's $180. If you just follow Spencer's picks, you are in good shape. So you'll make that up in no time if you're betting $10 a bet, basically. So he's out there cooking. I'm starting to get my stuff back together, so it's going to be good stuff out there. He's got his model for you to use. We've got all the PGA premium tools, all the premium articles, Joe Nicey's horse for the course, Spencer's Vegas report. We've got optimizers. We've got my showdown model out there for showdown weeks. And we got the beautiful Discord. You know, I helped some guys pick Nick Hardy, Nick Taylor, and Adam Hadwin for showdown in round 4 from the crapper while I was out in Panama City Beach. So there's lots of fun stuff going on in the Discord. Go and jump in there. Use code MANIAC 10% off. Blah, blah, blah. Get all that done. Moving on to the key stats for the week. This is what's cooking at the Wells Fargo Championship. We're playing at Quail Hollow Club. Par 71, 75,000 plus yards. As you can tell here, distance is paramount. 6% more important than tour average, along with 4% more important around the green play. Those two key elements of the golf game will be tested the most, although strokes gained around the green not nearly as reflective of a good score as strokes gained approach, essentially. You know, so we always got to remember that approach is king, but from course to course it varies. So as you can see here, just a stroke gain approach on this golf course, about tour average, 1% less than, and then putting pretty normal and off the tee 1% more important, with the majority of the weighting we're going to be using is distance. Then when it comes to proximity numbers, take a look at that green down there from 150 to 200, and then from 200 plus. We got a lot of percentages coming in from 150 to 200. So we got about 40% of shots coming from 150 to 200, which is pretty hot. It's more than tour average. And then you've got a lot more shots than tour average coming from 200 to 225, 225 to 250, and then 250 plus. There's only 3 par 5s on this course. So that's not necessarily going to mean that those long shots are coming in on the par 5s. You know, there's going to be some long holes on this hole, on this course, and the dogs are throwing stuff in the next room here. So that's what's going on in the Lindeque household. But let's keep on scooting down. So now, some fun stuff. The PGA Tour has... there's a Apple iWatch charger on the floor and my dog's chewing the box. So she stopped, thank God. Anyway, apologies for the ADD there. Let's dive in. The PGA Tour has made it a nightmare for your boy to be able to, you know, get his model looking good. So I have gone to Data Golf. And now, for strokes gained approach, we have got some serious metrics that we are relying on. We've got 5 different buckets in 50-yard increments. Strokes gained approach, proximity, green regulation rates, good shot rates, and bad shot rates. So you can see, and this is a new thing that I've been doing. So we are testing it out. But the PGA Tour sucks when it comes to getting data. These numbers, I have to click one button and they all populate for me. So that's what we're doing. I'm not downloading a million different things every week. So we are now cooking with gas, and these stats are even better anyway. So we've got all these different metrics. As you can see here, we've got 35% for total approach. We've got 20% for total driving, 8% strokes gained off the tee, 5% distance, 3% off the tee last 24, and then 4% for 7,400-yard plus courses. Strokes gained off the tee on long golf courses, 4% there. Bogey avoidance, 15%. The scores are going to be rather low this week. And then par 5 scoring, just 10%. You know, you got to score on those par 5s, even though there are only 3. That's what's cooking. We've got strokes gained a lot for each proximity bucket here. For 150 to 200, we got 7%. For 200 plus, we got 4%. So we got a lot of strokes gained approach for those 2 buckets. We've got some bad shots coming from 150 to 200. Just a nice little mixture of some new stats. We're trying to figure out which ones are going to be the most predictive. We've got some, these ones at the top are all for the last 12 months. And then the ones at the bottom are year to date. So since 2023 has begun. That's what's cooking over there. Let's get to the model. Let us indeed get to the model. How does it look? Can we see? It looks a little small to me, but that's okay because I had to revamp this whole thing. I don't know if it's too small or not. Let me know if you are struggling to see this. We've got round 1 tee times all the way on the left here. Green is round 1. Green means early. Red means late. I'm not going to use up a whole bunch of screen space in order to show you the actual time. Just know red, late, green, early. Doesn't mean it's good or bad. I don't think there's a wave edge this week. Salary, ownership, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. So let's get into it. We've got some outrights. We've got some placements. We don't have any matchups. I haven't had a shot to look at the matchup market. It has been month end, and I have been a busy old accountant. So that's what's cooking. We've got Rory McIlroy sitting way up at the top here, first in the model. He's at a casual 2.67 power rating because we do have, if you look at our settings, which I forgot to mention, we've got 15% of it. You know, all the stats go in for 75%. The other 25% is made up by 15% for course history, and then just strokes gained total for the last 24 for 10%. So that's what's cooking. And Rory is obviously going to benefit tremendously from his recent performances around Quail Hollow, which he ranks first. He's the Quail man. He's the Quail monster. He is the man that just does his thing around here. Now, at that kind of ownership, at that kind of price, I'm out. I'm easy because the putting for Rory has been abysmal. If you look at his 5 to 15 feet on Bermuda and the last 24 or so rounds, it's been pretty bad. He's been pretty bad with the putter. So we're going to keep banking on that. At that ownership, we'll go to other people like a Patrick Cantley. Rory's 7-1 on the market right now. He's minus 200 to freaking finish inside the top 20. I don't like any of those bets. I think he's pretty juiced. I'm trying to get rid of my Rainmaker Rory card. So I'm a full fade on Rory. He's basically this week's John Rahm. There's Darbo's John Rahm hatred, even though Rahm and Scotty Scheffler are not playing this week. But also, you know, Rory's played well at other comp courses like this. So off the tee, that's what Rory does. Distance, blah, blah, blah. You know that about Rory. So we're going to just keep on scooting by. I'm out. I'm out on him. There's nothing that appeals to me about. I don't think he's playing particularly well right now. And although the course history is sensational, the game and the recent form is not there. So I don't mind actually fading guys that are very popular based off their course history when they're entering the week on poor form. I'm going to go to a guy that's got great course history if he's like a low-owned individual. If he's got some good odds, I'm all about that. But if your recent form right now is just not there, we're out. So last 24 rounds for Rory, he's ninth in the field. So there's other guys that we can easily go to that we want to talk about. So Patrick Cantley, second in the model, 10-5, 23% owned. He's second in the model, folks. Patrick Cantley's like new caddy now. I think he's got Tiger's caddy on the bag. If you take a look at what Patrick Cantley does, well, he plays hard, medium, all the course as well. His off the tee game is pretty darn good. You know, he doesn't hit it a million miles, but he's been playing pretty good off the tee lately, and off those long tee shots on the 7,400 yard plus holes, I mean, all courses, he's ninth in the field, so that's not too shabby. And if you take a look at his proximity from 200, he's not proximity, his actual strokes gained. And this is new to the model now, so let's see if we can actually figure this out here. His strokes gained from the fairway is fifth in the field from 200 plus. From 150 to 200, it's 28. So the closer he gets to the hole, the less effective he is as a ball striker with the irons. And then from the rough, he's not nearly as good as you'd expect. He's 59th from 150 plus, which is really cool. These are some really cool stats, you know. So I haven't been using any rough metrics. I think it's important because you're hitting about half the fairways this week. Accuracy is essentially whatever. Just bomb it out there and take your chances out the rough. And out of the rough, Patrick Cantley's, you know, not the best. So, Jesus, are we really actually that excited about him this week at 23%? You know, so I don't know. The par 5 scoring is fantastic. He's obviously the best in the field at that. Makes the most birdies in the field and avoids bogeys at a really impressive rate. So maybe, you know, the around the green play, the putting has been atrocious lately. Fixed it up a little bit at the RBC. Did okay at, you know, the Zurich. We'll see what he can get up to. He's usually a very good putter. So Patrick Cantley, I'm iffy. Definitely going to have him in a few lineups, though. I do have a lot of rainmakers in him. Couldn't get to him in any betting market, but that's okay. So that's what's cooking with Patrick Cantley. I'm not necessarily thrilled about his stuff. I'm looking at his buddy. And, his buddy's making a lot of sense to me. He's $200 more expensive. Now, how the hell is Xander Schauffele more expensive than Patrick Cantley? Based off of recent form, Cantley's got him beat. You know, just the ball striking has been incredible from Cantley versus Xander. Xander's like 104th in the field off the tee over the last 24 rounds. What's that about? Now, Xander, what does he do good? Everything apart from drive the ball accurately, essentially. I think because he's also got pretty decent distance. Does Xander off the tee is 42nd, so nothing disappointing, but nothing elite off the tee. That's going to be his biggest drawback this week. His price is $10,700. That's ridiculous. Now, maybe his price is that way because he's one of the best iron players in the field. He is fantastic. When I say fantastic, I mean fantastic. Second in the field from 200 yards in the fairway, strokes gained wise. And then you take a look at rough, strokes gained out of the rough from 150 plus. He's ninth in the field. So anytime Xander's got a long iron in his hand, boy, oh boy, is he looking good. He's fourth in the field from 150 to 200, strokes gained from the fairway. So you love to see that. He's inside the top 10 for bogey, birdie, and par 5 scoring. That's nice too. The putting is sensational. All very solid stuff. He's just so solid. So solid. Now, do I think he's going to win the golf tournament? No. I don't know what he did when he won 3 in a row or three on the trot or 3 in a short space of time last year. He must have been on something. But I still like him to finish inside the top 20, which he does 73% of the time, along with his buddy Patrick. They're both out there just top 20ing like crazy. Love to see that from them. So they also make cuts at a ridiculous rate, almost at 90% of the time. So he's safe and he's got decent upside. But now He's $10,700. But I do think he's a great course fit. So I'm going to be playing some Xander. He's got a late afternoon tee time. I don't know why I'm saying that. I just looked at the red box. There's the ADD for you. I like Xander this week. I don't mind him at all. Excuse me while I take a quick sip. Yeah, my voice is going 15 minutes into the pod already. But everything about his game, apart from off the tee, is looking good. Now, I think the problem is it's accuracy. That's his biggest issue. So I don't know how big of a factor that's going to be this week. He doesn't have elite distance either. But I like everything else about his game. Out of the rough, he's doing great. The ball striking on the iron front is just nutsos. So we love what he can get up to. Our first bet of the week, folks, 4th ranked golfer in the model. A little surprising, to be honest with you. But it doesn't, we'll figure out why. I don't even know why he is yet, but we're going to take this journey together. And his name is Sungjae Im. He's $9,100 at 16% owned. 4th in the model. Makes cuts at an 84% rate. Finishes inside the top 20, 56% of the time. Lots to like about him. The model is telling us that we've got 9 points of value on a top 20 for Sungjae at plus 120 on FanDuel. I don't even know if that's FanDuel. I think these are leftover colors, but whatever it is, Sungjae is the guy. Let's take a look here. I got top 40 rates. Ugh, yuck. So I like him for a top 20 though. A lot to like. He does it half of the time. And if you take a look at what he does well, his recent performances is 5th in the field, strokes gained total. His off the tee game is inside the top 10. His ball striking is 16th. His around the green play is fantastic. We saw that earlier. Important to be good around the greens this week. Important to have that little up and down touch. 20th in the field over the last 24 rounds, putting. So there's a lot to like about his game. The irons have been a little off. We'll see what gets up to there. Typically, they're not quite there, but he's a very, very good long iron player. If you take a look at that fairway, those fairway strokes gained, 17th and 6th. The further away it gets for Sungjae, the better he gets. He's kind of like a Xander. And what you see there is, well, not really. Xander's elite from a long iron perspective. And that's why they play so well in alternate shots, Cantley and Xander. Because Cantley off the tee, beast mode. Xander on long iron approach shots at the Zurich, beast mode. They played better in alternate shot than they did in freaking best ball format, which is ridiculous. But it also makes sense because their best part of their games get to be emphasized. So that's interesting there. Going back to Sungjae, from 150 to 200, he's 17th in the field in strokes gained. Love to see that. 6th in the field from 200 plus. He's a darling from 200 plus, folks. Throws dimes. Does wonderful stuff. Around the green, he's always pretty solid. 37th from 150 plus out of the rough. That's not too shabby either. And the par 5 scoring is pretty darn good. 3rd in the field. No surprise there. Good long iron player. Great around the greens. Good putter. That to me screams good par 5 scoring. And the math checks out. Insert Will Ferrell gif. Will Ferrell, yeah. The math seems to check out, folks. So I love what he can get up to. The 3-putt avoidance. Ooh, 78th in the field. Little sketchy there. Little sketchy. But we'll see what he can get up to. Pretty solid from 5 to 15 feet over the last 24 rounds. Like to see that. Bogey avoidance is 6th in the field. So he plays medium courses pretty well, it seems, too. And he does so. 6th in the field when he plays hard golf courses. So love to see that from Sungjae. Plus 120, top 20, baby. First bet of the day. We're going to go to Sungjae. Tony Finau. Next up. The winner of the Mexico Open, folks. The winner of the Mexico Open. So between him and John Rahm, they've got that goddamn tournament wired. And I'm not sure anyone will ever win that tournament if they keep teeing it up there. But he's $10,200, 21% owned, 5th in the model. Couldn't quite get to him at a top 20 bet at minus 120 as the best market available odds there. And he actually finishes inside the top 20 only 47% of the time. So he's one of the worst of the bunch at the top here, but his recent performances have been scintillating. In fact, he's the number 1 on approach over the last 24 rounds, and his strokes gained total is 3rd in the field. So he's been playing really good golf lately. The ball striking has been sensational, 7th, but that's mainly due to the approach play. His actual off the tee stuff is gone. It's not gone south, But I don't know if he's emphasized like accuracy, because his distance is like only 38th in the field, which is kind of perplexing for a guy of his strength and caliber. So we'll see what he can get up to. But if you take a look at what Tony gets up to on approach, he's actually, on the longer golf courses, 7,400 plus, he's 21st in the field. So that's okay. It gets better when well, not necessarily better. He's 15th on baseline scoring. So his drivers kind of let him down lately. I guess that's what I've been stumbling towards. The driver lately has been letting him down. What is going to get up to this week, we don't know. But what we do know is he's one of the best iron players in the field. What we do know is over 150 to 200, he's sixth in the field in strokes gained. So when Tony's got a medium iron in his hand, he is dialed, folks. He's absolutely dialed, and he's sixth best in the field. The long irons from 200 plus, 44th. So not nearly as good as his mid irons. The further away he gets, it seems like he kind of loses the edge there. And that'll be interesting to see. But, he's pretty good around the greens, average around the greens, in fact. But the scoring for the essential stuff, birdie, bogey, par 5 scoring, all inside the top 10. His best stat there being the birdie percentage at 5th. So lots to like about Tony. He's just come off a win in Mexico. Flying back from Mexico to North Carolina. I'm not necessarily sure that's an appealing flight to me. At 21% ownership, $10,200. I don't know. Like whatever. Do your thing. That's what's going on with Tony. That is what's going on with Tony. I can't say I'm leaning either way with him right now. He's just doing his thing, but one of the best iron players in the world, and the putter seems like it heated up in Mexico. So we saw him do some serious work at the 3M, the Rocket Mortgage, and the Houston in a short period of time there. Now he goes to an elite elevated event where he's just been rattling off top 20s. And I've been mentioning forever, top 25 to T5 that's Tony Finau's range. Goes to the Mexico Open, goes and wins it there. But now that was nearly not as good of an event as this, field strength wise. So we'll see what he can get up to. I'm not leaning anyway. Cameron Young, sixth in the model, $8,700. What are they doing? What is DraftKings doing there? He's going to be one of the highest owned guys on the slate now at $8,700. That's unfortunate because we have an outright on Cam Young, and he's basically our only outright. We've got two other long shots at 400 to 1, which we will get to, and they are not on the screen because they are very long shots, but we're going to take a shot in the dark. But Cameron Young is our first outright of the week. $8,700, 27%. He's pushing 30%. And that makes a lot of sense because if you take a look at what he does well, Cameron Young, distance off the tee, second in the field. Who is first in the field? Let's take a quick peek here. Way down in the bottom of the board. I don't even know if he's where's the number one? Number one, folks, is Rory. Rory leads the field in distance off the tee. So that's what's going on there. Cam Young is second. Strokes gained off the tee on long golf courses. Cameron Young gains the most strokes in the field on 7,400 yard plus courses. So off the tee, Cam Young is he's running to second base. He's not on first, he's not on second, but he's somewhere in between and he's hustling. Then you take a look at what he gets up to, strokes gained wise, from 150 to 200. He's 12th in the field, strokes gained wise, from the fairway. When you take a look at 200 plus shots from the fairway, he's 7th. So his long irons are dialed. Those woods are dialed. He hardly ever has to really hit woods because he can just drill a 3-iron 250 yards, so he can absolutely get it done. Now you see out of the rough, strokes gained out of the rough for Cam Young is a real perplexing situation, sitting all the way in 114th. Now, that is what the model's telling us. This has just been put together freshly. I'm not entirely sure if it's 100% accurate, but that makes a lot of sense to me. Everything that we've seen, makes sense. So like JT and Spieth out of the rough, pretty solid. So I'm talking about Jordan Spieth here. We are jumping all over the place. But let's get back to Cameron Young, who are outright and the name of the podcast is. It's been so busy, I never got to name it. Can you do the Cam, folks? Can you do the Cam? That is the name of the pod, episode 58, presented by Rotoballer. Back 9 bets, baby. So we've got some stuff that we got to deal with here when it comes to Cameron Young, folks. All the way on the right side, things start getting a little scary. When I looked at I did a model that I just built a model strictly for par 5 scoring. So off the tee, approach from 200 plus, around the green, and putting. So the three things that you're most likely going to have to do, you're going to need to make sure you can sink long putts. You're going to make sure you can get up and down from missing the greens from 200 plus. Can you hit it on the green from 200 plus? That's going to help because that's a guaranteed birdie if you can just 2-putt it. And getting off the tee helps 1,000,000%. Like if I looked at the correlations between which stat matters most to par 5 scoring, if you kind of do a little regression analysis in Excel, and funnily enough, off the tee stuff came out the highest correlation. So why is Cam Young not doing it on the par 5s? Because he is 78th. No, sorry. Bogey avoidance is 78th, which is pretty crappy. But I think he had a stretch there where his putting was very bad. He was missing a lot of short putts. Wasn't good. But for a guy of his length, his par 5 scoring is only 20th in the field. And if you take a look at all these studs, all the way down to our 11th ranked golfer in Justin Thomas, all 10 guys inside the top 11 are inside the top 10 in par 5 scoring. Cam Young is 20th. That's like if he can figure out his par 5 scoring, boy, oh boy, are we going to be in business, because he at the RBC was just making par after par on par 5s, and you cannot be doing that kind of stuff. So maybe these are different par 5s. Maybe they're a bit longer. Maybe they, just get his thing. Perfect. Thanks, Darbo. Microphone working great. Thank you. I pictured there's 3 of you in the chat. I'm assuming you wouldn't be listening if it sounded horrific anyway. So I kind of did some deductive reasoning there, but thanks for the update. We're talking about Cam Young's par 5 scoring, which is pretty crappy. And I think it's got to do with the fact, the putting stats are pretty bad, because he had that stint where he was just missing 5. He was like 150th in the field from 5 feet, and that seems to have rectified itself over the last little while, but I think that's still lagging. So I think that's definitely going to be a problem, because if you think about it, on a par 5, your fourth shot is very likely going to be a 5 to 6 footer. And if you're around the green play is pretty crap, which his is, it's one of the worst in the top 7 here. His around the green play is the worst in the top 7. So that's his biggest flaw. If he can tidy up the short game, he's going to be looking good. Now he's got Paul Tesori on the bag, Webb Simpson's caddy. If you think about Webb Simpson, you think about short game. This guy's got tricks and trades and all sorts of things that we can hopefully expect him to be doing. And I hope that Cam Young can win this goddamn thing at 25-1. I'm not sure what's out there right now. Bet Rivers Enhanced Odds is exactly where you want to go for the best odds there. Check that out. Let's go down to Matty Fitzpatrick. He's a $9,300, 14% owned. I love what he can get up to on this golf course, folks. I love him this week at $9,300, 14% owned. Nice salary saver, 7th in the model. He's almost a top 20 bet at plus 120. Just couldn't get there. We would have pulled the trigger at plus 130, basically. But he finished inside the top 20 62% of the time. He's a machine when it comes to doing that. And he's coming off 2 of his best. I think I did a tweet where it said Matthew Fitzpatrick's last 2 rounds have been his 2 of his top 5 best performances, with one of them last week, or the RBC being his best iron performance ever. But they both fell inside the top 5. The one at Augusta as well. So his irons are kind of surging. But as you can see, like, he's over the last 24 rounds, even those 8 rounds that he's had recently are just, it's 47th in the field on approach. If you take a look in general, 106th. If you look at inside of 150 to 200, 80th, so he gets a little bit better from 200 to what you may call it, 200 plus. He's actually pretty solid. But I think his issue is proximity wise. He's like very passive when it comes to his iron play. He's very neutral. He doesn't go for the flag. He's typically like playing protective. And I think when you get smaller greens like the RBC, like Augusta, where you have to hit it onto those shelves, his target area gets diminished and he tunes in and he plays good golf. I think if you take a look at his approach, strokes gained approach on smaller greens, right up there. Short game, fantastic. Now his birdie or better rate, because of his crap iron play, is 60th in the field. It's pretty crap. Like that is easily the worst. If you take a look at, you got to go all the way down to Shane Lowry, who's 16th in the model, to get easily the next worst birdie or better maker. We got everyone that's inside the top 15 is inside the top 30 in birdie or better rates, except for Matty Fitz. And then you get Lowry. So those two Europeaners cannot get it done when it comes to birdies. And this is DFS we're talking about. You got to make those birdies get those points. But this is a difficult golf course. Birdies are going to be hard to come by. What does Fitzy do well? Well, par 5 scoring is pretty solid. Bogey avoidance is pretty solid. Both inside the top 7. Love to see that from him. The putting is pretty solid too. So there's a lot to like about him here. I like him a lot this week. I love his driving ability. If those irons keep doing their thing, we'll see him cooking, folks. So I don't mind him at that ownership. I don't mind him at that price. We'll see what he can get up to. We'll go next on Colin Morikawa, $9,800. I don't think I'm going to go there. The putting and the short game is one of the worst in the field relative to the big dogs. I know that the ball striking is important this week, but I mean, look at Collins. Jesus, he's inside the top 3 in number 1 approach, strokes gained everywhere. From 150 to 200, he's third. From 200 plus, he's third. So he's so very good from the fairway. And then you put him in the rough. He's just like Cam Young, where he's 89th in long iron shots from the rough. Now, his accuracy off the tee is ridiculously good. It's one of the best in the field. But I don't know how much that's going to help him here. I really don't know if that's going to be something that he can really take advantage of. He lacks distance. The distance off the tee is 89 for Colin. So we know that this is a long golf course. I don't know. At that price tag, I'm out. We'll play some Sungjae. Absolutely. Give me Sungjae instead of Colin. Give me. I didn't even mention if we're going to play Cam Young. I don't know if we're going to. But at that price range, Jesus, if you're going to skip Rory, you can play some Cam. How many people are going to go Rory, Cam Young to start their builds? So maybe we just skip Rory, play some Cam Young, see what happens from there. I love Sungjae this week. I love him a lot, and I love some Matty Fitz. We'll keep on scooting down the board. Jordan Spieth. Let's take a look at his stats. We are taking a long time here. I can tell I've been out to saddle. It's been like 2 weeks since I've done a solo pod, but that's okay. We are having a good time, and I'm not stressing. Spieth, I don't think he's ever played at Quail, so that's fun. Neither has Colin. Course history for Spieth at these kind of venues, not the best, but we also know that this is over the last while. Spieth's game has really improved so much to the tune that he's actually leading the field in strokes gained total over the last 24 rounds. Off the tee is his worst metric over the last 24 rounds in 44th, but the approach plays 5th, ball striking 11th, around the green 3rd. Putting has actually got all the way up to 14th. Jordan Spieth's putting well, folks. Love to see that. I mean, that short game total is sitting at 2nd. Oh, boy, that's the Spieth that we know and love and hate. We had him at the Valero or the Valspar, let us down there. Some people had him at the RBC, open the door to Fitz. But at some point, he's going to win a tournament. He has to. You can't be playing this good a golf and not, especially when you're putting that well. For Jordan Spieth, bogey avoidance for him, as always. The guy's just off the rails. 69th. It's not very nice, but nice at the same time. Birdie or better rates 20th, and par 5 scoring is 5th. So lots to like about that, but the bogey avoidance rate on a difficult golf course is a little questionable. If you take a look at medium golf course scoring, 28th in the field, that's not terrible, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But his approach play from 200 plus is rather concerning. He's not a very good long iron player. 200 plus, he's 122nd in the field. Ooh, that's not good. It's actually really bad. So, yeah, double check that. But we're going to pretend like that's correct, which it most likely is, because Colin Morikawa's stuff makes a lot of sense. 122nd in the field from 200 plus for Jordan Spieth. Out of the fairway, no good. Out of the rough from 150 plus, he's third. So maybe that's what you're going to be getting here. You know, like he's going to be driving his ball into the rough anyway. He's going to be there with 50% of the field in the rough on 50% of the holes anyway. Whatever. We'll see what he can get up to. Jordan Spieth, $9,600, 17% owned. Sign us up. Let's go. I'll take him over freaking Colin Morikawa any day. I'm sorry, folks. We're struggling. We are struggling through. So we're going to just keep on moving on. Justin Thomas at $8,900. At the RBC, he was some crazy ownership. Finished in the top 30, shooting his best round of the week on Sunday when it didn't matter. He went off early in the morning, did his stuff. I don't know. Someone get the guy a pizza. I think he's on some gluten-free diet now. I don't know what to tell you. He's just underwhelming right now. The putter is his biggest issue. 95th in the field, him and Colin Morikawa, but he's not nearly as good as a ball striker right now as Colin either. You know, everything about JT's game's it's gone from being elite on the approach side of things to 15th in the field. You know, that's not ideal. And the long irons look like they think JT's a really good wedge player. Inside of 150 is his game. Over the last 12 months, he's 62nd and 68th from the fairway, from 150 to 200 and 200 plus. So that's not good. Makes a ton of birdies. The bogey avoidance is pretty crap because he can't sink a 6-footer to save his life. That makes a lot of sense. The 3-putt avoidance is 144th in the field. Holy cow. And these are some big-ass greens, folks. These are some big-ass greens. So we're out on JT. Even at that price, we'll go to Tom Kim. Look at Tom Kim. I don't know what on earth it is about his game that is getting him in here. And in fact, I will tell you right now. The fact that Tom Kim is 10th in strokes gained approach from 150 to 200 from the fairway. Yeah. And then 24th from 200 plus. He's so good with the long iron in his hand, all things considered. So there's a lot to like about his game. Even out of the rough from 150 out, he's 47. So nothing terrible there. Tom Kim's going to be $8,400, 10% owned. He doesn't fit this golf course very well. And even after we ramped up 8% in the model off the tee, we got a casual 5% distance. So I haven't done as much distance as probably most people have, but I do have plus 7,400 yard courses, and we've got a lot of strokes gained off the tee. So a lot of strokes gained off the tee stuff is derived from distance. So there's a lot of off the tee stuff in here. Zero accuracy, no accuracy involved, which is Tom Kim's strength. So we'll see what he can get up to. I love his iron play. The putting recently has been crap. We'll see what he can get up to this week. On Bermuda, he's 108th from 5 to 15 feet. Not good at all. But the bogey avoidance is 8th. The birdie or better rates are 10th. Par 5 scoring, 27th. Not too bad either. There's only 3 of them this week. Remember, they are important. Those are the holes you're going to make your most birdies on. But he's really tidy around the greens. Great long iron player. Sign us up at 10% owned. Give me that. Now we've got some Jason Day at 12%. That's interesting. 15%, sorry, and 12th in the model. $9,000. One of the best course histories outside of Rory McIlroy at Quail Hollow Club does Jason Day have. And it makes a lot of sense because he has the 12th best comp course rating out of everybody in the field too. So he loves himself some long, driver-intensive, boom it out there, get up and down around the greens kind of thing. Strike your irons well too. He loves all that stuff, and that's what he does in general. Short game, over the last 24 rounds, 4th in the field. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. And over the last 24 rounds, he's 7th. 7th in the field, strokes gained-wise. So he's playing some good golf. And we've seen his ownership go very rogue. recently, and I don't think it's going to happen this week, regardless of his course history, which is fantastic around here. So sign me up for some $9,000 Jason Day. I'll take him over Colin Morikawa and Justin Thomas any day of the week. So that's kind of what we're thinking about Jason Day there. The par 5 scoring is a little suspect at 70th, but that's okay. Again, only three of them on the course, so we'll see what he can get up to. But there's lots to like about him. I don't mind him at all. The course history is exactly what I'm looking for someone this price and this owned. Max Homa, 11th, 13th in the model, similar situation, $9,400, 14% ownership projected. Couldn't quite. Oh, we are just racing through here, not paying any attention. FanDuel, and let me just double check some stuff here for you real quick, because there's a massive misprice on Tom Kim for a top 20 on FanDuel. If you go and take a peek, see, and take a look at Tom Kim's numbers, Tom Kim, Ju Young Kim, plus 270 for a top 20 on FanDuel. Go grab yourself one of those. The next best number on the market is plus 190. So, yeah, go grab a Tom Kim top 20. This is back 9 bets, and we are just breezing over top 20 bets. What are we doing? What on earth are we doing? Tom Kim, top 20, plus 270. 80 points more than anywhere else. So FanDuel's got a misprice there. Maybe they know that he's going to suck. Maybe they are caught with their pants down. And I feel like in this betting, in this economy, in this betting market, we need to capitalize on these kind of things. Even if that's he doesn't make it, that's still plus 270 for a top 20 for Tom Kim, who's been doing it 40% of the time. I feel like that's a pretty solid number. We'll see what he can get up to. He's got good vibes at Quail. Played fantastically at the President's Cup. So we'll see what Tommy Kim can get up to. Plus 270, 80 points more than the next best one out there. So 270 out there at FanDuel, folks. Go grab one of those. Those are our only 2 top 20 bets that we have this week. Max Homa, usually we are gushing about this guy. But over the last 24 rounds, he's 25th in the field, strokes gained total. RBC, Masters, Zurich, MC, Masters. Hot garbage on Sunday. Hot garbage. I had him in so many Rainmaker lineups with John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler and Patrick Cantley. And then he goes and shoots like a 78 on Sunday. Max Homa, what are you doing? Get it together. And what has off the tee? Like, what is going on, bro? What is going on? Off the tee is 30th baseline, 103rd of the last 24 rounds. So it's just been, And, the around the green play has gone backwards, 69th, last 24 rounds. Again, not nice. Out of the rough from 150 plus, it's 100th in strokes gained approach. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Max. He just had a child. And I wonder, like he had the kid and still carried on playing well. But sometimes there can be a lag that can happen where the practice you put in prior to the child arriving, the delinquent individual in your family that just was exploded into the world, and he just did a presser today and pretty much compared golf to his kid, aka a baby, not necessarily his kid, but he said, kids are a mess. I doubt he's been practicing nearly as hard as he was before the kid came. And that can be leading to some cracks in his game. I have him in too many Rainmaker cards, so I can't sell him now because his price has plummeted. I don't know if I'm going to bet him. I don't know if I'm going to play him either. I don't know if I like Max Homa this week at $9,400, regardless of the course history. I don't know. I want to see something from him before I get back on the bandwagon there with Mr. Homa. Talking about some ball striking and some off the tee and some whatchamacallit and some terrible short game. We've got ourselves Victor Hovland at $9,200 and 26% owned. One looking like him, Cam Young, and Rory McIlroy are going to be the 3 highest owned guys in the field this week. Why do everybody like Victor? Because of the Norwegian sensation on the ball striking front. Second in the field. Second on off the tee. 8th on approach. Gives you a nice casual second in ball striking. And then 106th around the green and 104th in putting. Gives you 105th in short game. So what? We got a little bit of salt and pepper situation going on here with Victor Hovland. What on earth is he going to get up to around the greens? What is he going to do putting? The 3-putt avoidance for Victor, 102nd. The around the green play baseline, 142nd. The birdie or better rate, 7th. The course history, 7th. So we got some salt and pepper, and the ownership is easily enough for me to just get off of this because he's 14th in the model. He's not necessarily like popping that hard. The ball striking is nuts. The around the green stuff is nuts as well. It drives you nuts. So we're going to leave him alone at that ownership. Like we've discussed already, there are other $9,000 guys like Jordan, like Jason, like Tom, like Fitz that we're going to be going to, and Sanjay. We're going to probably pepper the hell out of this 9K range this week. So that's where we go. And I know Darbo's probably screaming at me because we don't have a 10K bucket. We might have to just, I don't know. There's not a lot of guys that I like in the 10K range, to be honest with you. Looking back at it now, 46 minutes in, let's keep on going. We are out on Victor Hovland, 26%. Tyrrell Hatton, we are in on him. And this is perplexing because I think Tyrrell Hatton is one of the best long iron players in the field, and it's telling us the wrong stuff here. So let's actually double check. Strokes gained approach. Let's check Tyrrell Hatton here and just make sure that we know exactly. I want to tell you what is going on and if it's right or not. We're going to go all the way to strokes gained approach from the fairway, and we want good shots. It's telling us it's not the best. So I do think he's a really good long iron player, though, and out of the rough in particular. So this is interesting. Out of the rough, he's the 6th best long iron player in the field from 150 plus, but very bad from the fairway. So we'll have to deal with that. But his recent approach play has been 18th in the field. He's been playing really good golf. Off the tee, 12th. Around the green and putting 51st and 62nd. So not too good there. He's a really good putter. 3-putt avoidance is 14th in the field. Very good on Bermuda. We got Darbo. Yeah. So, yeah, if you don't know who Eric Darbo is, I keep referencing Sweet Spot. One of my favorite followers on Twitter and YouTubers is the top 10 projections have 0 to 2 golfers from 10K range in it. So your concerns are warranted. Yeah, I know. So Darbo does the Sweet Spot DFS thing. Go check his channel out. I think he starts now in like 13 minutes or something. So his stuff is awesome. He does the bucket system. I'm not going to explain it to you guys, but it's a really interesting thing. It's really made me a much better DFS player too. So go check out Sweet Spot DFS on YouTube and go follow that. Like watch that literally right after this. So that's what's cooking now. Let's keep on going. Tyrrell, we like him. We'll take a gamble on the short game side of things. The putting is going to be there for us. Recently, not so good. We're back on Bermuda. We like it. I like him on the East Coast, Florida swings, those kind of courses. I think he really thrives on. We're down in South Carolina now. I think that's almost like the same. I don't know. I'm being a naive American, South African that doesn't know what he's talking about. But I like Tyrrell. $8,500, 12% owned. Sign me up. Shane Lowry. What on earth is going on with Shane Lowry? Shane Lowry's putting is 121st in the field. No good. No dice. But that's mainly got to do with the fact that he can't sink a birdie putt. He's 63rd in the field in 3-putt avoidance. Bogey avoidance rate is 23rd. Birdie putts, birdie rate 119th. We're going to a golf course that we're going to see -10 win this thing maybe in that area. I like him at $8,100, 7% owned. This guy's ball striking is pretty solid. He's 16th in the model, plays medium golf courses really well. Really good on approach, very good from far away. And from 150 plus in the rough, he's 4th in the field, folks. So you get a lot of good stuff from Shane Lowry if you're not looking for birdie putts to be made, which are going to be very difficult to do this week. He's pretty solid on par 5 scoring, 32nd. We'll take it. Tommy Fleetwood, 17th, 11% owned, $8,000. Sign us up. Pretty solid golfer just across the board. Lacks distance off the tee. That's his biggest issue. Everything else about his game, around the green, par 5 scoring. Sign me up for Tommy Fleetwood this week. I love him at 8K. I think he's going to be one of my favorite 8K players. on a difficult golf course that's got very similar major type vibes. He plays nicely in those too. And then Corey Connors and Keegan Bradley, just two ball striking beasts. Corey Connors being a way worse around the green player than anybody else that's got his kind of, him and Victor, like blueprints of each other right now. The only thing is Corey's a little bit better putter. We'll see what he can get up to, though. But Bermuda putting from 5 to 15 feet is 133rd in the field. No good there. Avoids bogeys fantastically, though. So the putting is the birdie putties. The birdie putting. We're starting to make up words here. But I do like Corey Connors. I do like Keegan Bradley this week at $7,700. It's Keegan. Couldn't quite get to him at minus 140 for a top 40. 50 points off there. Probably would have pulled the trigger at plus 110. But Keegan Bradley over the last 24 rounds is 19th in the field in strokes gained. Keegan Bradley from 150 to 200, strokes gained on approach is 23rd. So he's going to be pretty dialed in from that range. So we'll see what he can get up to. And he's really good at avoiding three putts. 11th in the field. For a guy that's actually really bad at putting from 5 to 15 feet, he's really good at putting from far away. You know, getting it close enough so he doesn't have to make a tough putt. I like myself some Keegan Bradley this week. Another interesting character, I think, that could be a little bit of a DFS darling is Matt Kuchar, friends. 134th in distance off the tee. Yikes. Second best around the green. So, when you get to a difficult golf course, Matt Kuchar's your guy. He's 5th in bogey avoidance on tour. 25th on par 5 scoring. So he's going to take advantage of those par 5s. He's $7,900. He's less than 5% owned. Give me Matt Kuchar. Hello. Let's go. Next up is Keith Mitchell, whose approach play is 124th in the field compared to his baseline, which is 77th. He's been disgustingly bad on approach, which is really sad because he's one of the best off the tee in the field. And even that hasn't necessarily been quite the same way lately. He's kind of gone off the boil after showing some really good signs on the West Coast there. Couldn't quite get it together on the East Coast. And that's what we're getting here. But he's a really good par 5 scorer at $7,800, 13% owned. Give him a consideration. We're going to move on to Sahith Theegala instead. Sahith Theegala. And we're going to open up a single category here and take a look at this. In his 37 starts since the 2022 year began, Sahith Theegala, and let's actually just filter this here. Top 10 rate. He is a casual. I don't even know. 9th in top 10 rates. So there is a lot to like about this guy. Holy cow. Sahith Theegala, friends, has just been crushing it lately. He's going to be the next big thing. I'm telling you now, especially when we get to places that require wedges. He's one of the best wedge players in the world. Yeah. I've been looking at these numbers, and he is one of the best wedge players in the world. From afar, I don't necessarily like his chances. Further away from the hole, not so good. But as a wedge player, watch out for those birdie fests. I'm not necessarily sure I'm interested in him this week. Going to be far too many long iron shots. The approach play is okay, but the long iron stuff is not good. No good there. We're going to leave him alone at $8,200. We might have to give him a skip, even though I'll be playing him a lot in Rainmakers because I have a lot of him. I'm mentioning a lot of Rainmakers. Me and Joel do a podcast every Monday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern now. So go check that out if you are interested in Rainmakers. And yeah, so moving on. JT Poston, our final placement bet of the day, of the pod. And he is plus 150 to finish top 40, which he does 49% of the time. So give me plus 150 for a guy that does it half the time. That seems to me that it should be plus 100. Now, it is an elevated event, and his comp course history is pretty crap, but his course history is pretty good. 26th in course history at this venue. And recently, things have been a little askew for the guy. Nothing exceptional coming out of his strokes gained numbers. But He's pretty good from 150 to 200, and he's pretty good from 200 out. So there's a lot to like about his ball striking numbers on the long iron front, and he's pretty solid when it comes to making. I added another column, and now I can't see par fives, so let's hide that, and voila! I think that is one of the reasons why JT Poston is popping in the model, because he's the 11th best par five scorer in the field. 3 of them, and I know we've made light of whatchamacallit when it comes to par five scoring, like with Cam Young and a few other guys that not necessarily the best, Jason Day, but they do other things well. They've got great course history, all that jazz. JT Poston, the reason why he's popping, because 10% of the models kicking out an 11th ranked par five scoring. So, all right, Darbo, catch you later, my brother. Thanks for tuning in. We love your stuff. Plugging for you is always a pleasure. Wow. That's probably the most weird thing I've said on this podcast for a while. So that's what's going on with JT Poston. We love his par five scoring. Nothing about his recent plays really screaming anything. Nice course history. Let's go. Really blew the fish out the water there at the RBC, missing the cut in epic fashion when I had a lot of him. So that's what's cooking there. We're going to keep on scooting down the board and see what is going on with Siwoo Kim. Sign me up for Siwoo Kim at $7,700, 5% owned. Let's go there. Adam Hadwin also at that. Like, we just kind of, once we get into this range, I'm just looking for ownership leverage, guys. Adam Hadwin seems like a guy I want to go to. Taylor Montgomery, someone else I want to go to in this 7K range. Let's do all that. Robbie Shelton is somebody I've always been looking forward to playing, as well as some Adam Scott at $7,300. Just a very safe play for someone that's going to be a nice salary saver for you. And if you take a look at his course history, 57th, but he plays nicely at other comp courses. So hopefully something like that can come along. One of my favorite low-owned guys / low-priced guys, at 6%, he's not necessarily that low-owned, is Kurt Kitayama. I think especially at $7,200, if you take a look at his approach play, it's 20th in the field over the last 24 rounds. And if you take a look at his long iron play, strokes gained on long irons from 200 plus is 46th for a guy that's $7,200. Let's do that. Absolutely. Pretty solid on Bermuda from 5 to 15 feet. Makes a decent amount of birdies. We'll figure out the rest as we go. He's $7,200. We got to deal with some crap. I'm fine with that, So I like what you get from him from the long iron thing. And then he's 17th in the field in distance. And if you take a look at comp courses, it's only been a few rounds, but he leads the field in comp course comparisons. Let's take a look here. Kurt Kitayama, Wells Fargo, all time. I think whatever this is, he's gained a stroke at this venue before. I don't know when it was, maybe in 2017 or whatever. I don't know. This is because he played TPC Potomac probably. But if we take a look at Congaree, which is another good comp course, he played fantastic at the CJ Cup last year. If you take a look at Torrey Pines, not so hot, whatever, moving on. We'll keep on scooting down. Torrey Pines South, whatever, Bay Hill Club and Lodge, he won there. So I don't know why that's not pulling in. But if you look at Vedanta as well, maybe that's why, because it's pulling in the wrong number. But Vedanta, he played nicely in 2022. Kurt Kitayama made his grand appearance there that week. So there's lots to like about Kurt Kitayama at a long golf course like this. And then before we wrap it up, I got 2 long shots. One of them, let's keep scrolling down here until we find him. Holy cow. Probably got to look at some. Hayden Buckley's going to be a nice guy. We're looking for you. Let me just filter on these 2 dudes. Okay, there we go. Cameron Champ. Model rank. Hashtags. Not good. 127th in the model. But if you take a look at distance off the tee, he should be way the hell up there. And off the tee on longer courses, 7,400 plus, Cam Champ is 3rd in the field. Also, 200 plus yard shots from the fairway, he is 17th in the field. So he's really good with the long irons. The putting, the around the green play, all hot garbage. We're taking a shot on him, 400 to 1, Cam Champ. It's basically not betting a thing. 400 to 1 is a ridiculous number. For a guy that's got great distance off the tee, this distance number doesn't make any sense. He's also very, very good from 200 plus. So I love what you can get there from him. If the putter and the short game can have a bit of a spike week, we'll see what can happen. And then our next guy is going to be MJ Duffy. He's 90th in the model. He's a really solid at putting over the last 24 rounds. Missed the cut at Vedanta because he shot like 6 over par in round 1. Yikes. Shot 4 under par in round 2. That's what's going on there. Out of the rough, he's 31st in the field from 150 and out. If you take a look at his recent putting on Bermuda, very solid. And he's also got a lot of distance, 22nd in the field off the tee. Guy can absolutely crank it. So those are some guys I'm looking at. There's I don't even know where my clear filter thing is here. So that's what's going on here, folks. We are about to get out of this pod. Presented to you by Rotoballer, episode 58. Cam, you do the cam. Cameron Young, my friend, it is time to shine. Go out there and be great. Please, 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 please. Go out there, be great. Do your thing. Got the distance off the tee. You've got the iron play. Figure out around the greens. Get it together. It's your time. Go be that human ATM we want you to be. Please, Cam Young, get it together for us. Just go win it. You're basically our only bet this week. We might try and target some guys in the live market because the odds were ridiculously bad this week. So we just kind of took one shot at someone. We're rocking the $100 bill shirt. We're feeling feisty. I think Cam Young can be our man. I think he can be our guy. So he can do the can. And it's going to be at the Wells Fargo Championship, folks. We will catch you guys next week.